So, hello my dear students and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be discussing the most important topic, which is the selectable markers from the chapter first of recombinant DNA technology. So, what are selectable markers? This is an important feature of a vector, means any vector which we are using for the recombinant DNA technology experiments, all those vectors need to have a selectable marker. Now, what do they do? What are the selectable markers और इनका क्या फंक्शन है? क्यों किसी भी वेक्टर में सेलेक्टेबल मार्कर ज़रूरी होता है और इनका क्या काम होता है, इनका क्या रोल है आरडीटी एक्सपेरिमेंट्स में, वो सारी कुछ चीज़ें आज हम अपने वीडियो में देखेंगे। तो सबसे पहले हम समझ लेते हैं कि सेलेक्टेबल मार्कर्स होता क्या है। तो सेलेक्टेबल मार्कर्स का मतलब क्या होता है कि जैसे नाम से ही हमने देखा कि सेलेक्ट, नाम में ही इसके है सिलेक्शन, कि ये सिलेक्शन के लिए ज़रूरी है। और मार्कर का मतलब क्या होता है? किसी चीज़ को मार्क कर देना। तो क्या ये सेलेक्ट करेगा और क्या ये मार्क करता है, यही हमको देखना है। तो सेलेक्टेबल मार्कर इट कुड बी एनी जीन विच कैन बी यूज्ड to select the recombinants, to select the transformants or recombinants. मतलब कि ये कोई भी जीन ऐसी जीन्स होंगी जो कि सिलेक्शन में काम आए। क्या हमको सेलेक्ट करना है? अपने ट्रांसफॉर्मेंट्स या रिकॉम्बिनेंट्स। अब ये क्या होते हैं? व्हाट आर दीज ट्रांसफॉर्मेंट्स क्या होता है, रिकॉम्बिनेंट्स क्या होता है? तो इसके लिए हम समझते हैं जो हमारा आरडीटी एक्सपेरिमेंट था उसमें क्या देखा था हमने एक वेक्टर लिया था, एक हमारा जीन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट था। इस टॉपिक पे वीडियो मैंने पहले बना रखा है रिकॉम्बिनेंट डीएनए टेक्नोलॉजी एक्सपेरिमेंट्स में। यहाँ पे केवल थोड़ा सा देखेंगे कि सिलेक्टेबल मार्कर क्यों ज़रूरी है। और इन दोनों को हमने क्या किया था, हमने कट कर दिया एक एंजाइम से और फिर क्या कर दिया, दोनों को हम जोड़ देंगे। तो वेक्टर कट होने के बाद ऐसे खुल गया और हमारी रिकॉम्बिनेंट जीन ये रही। इन दोनों को जब हमने प्लस किया तब हमारे पास क्या बनकर आया? तब हमारे पास बनकर आ गया एक आरडीएनए। ये हमारा हो गया आरडीएनए। आरडीएनए का मतलब क्या हो गया हमारा? वेक्टर प्लस जीन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट। और ये जो इनका प्रोसेस था जिसमें हमने वेक्टर को जीन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट के साथ जोड़ा था, उस प्रोसेस को हम क्या कहते हैं? उस प्रोसेस को हम कहते हैं लाइगेशन। अब क्या होता है कि जब ये लाइगेशन रिएक्शन होगा तो कोई ज़रूरी तो नहीं है कि जो हमारा वेक्टर है वो हमारे जीन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट से कंबाइन करें, कोई ज़रूरी नहीं है। तो यहाँ पर हमको मिल सकता है हमारा रीसर्कुलराइज्ड या सेल्फ लाइगेटेड वेक्टर भी हमको मिल सकता है। लाइगेशन के बाद हमको दो मिल सकते हैं प्रोडक्ट्स। अब इनको हम क्या करते हैं? हम इनको ट्रांसफॉर्म करते हैं। ट्रांसफॉर्म का मतलब क्या हो गया? ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन का मतलब हो गया कि जो हमारा लाइगेशन प्रोडक्ट है उसको होस्ट सेल के अंदर इंट्रोड्यूस करा देना। उसके लिए कई सारे प्रोसेस हैं सच एज हीट शॉक, केमिकल मेथड्स, जीन गन और micro injection. Many methods are there for transformation. So when we transform this ligation product, we may get many types of cells. Let us imagine that this is an E. coli cell. Now when this is an E. coli cell, and after transformation we may get some cell may not take up any DNA and some cell may take up the self-ligated vector and some cells may take up the rDNA. So the cells which has not taken any DNA means it has not been transformed. So this type of cell is known as non-transformants. Non-transformants. And the cell which has taken the self-ligated vector, these are known as transformed. As well as the cells which has taken the rDNA, that is also known as transformant because transformation has taken place. The foreign DNA has been inserted into the host cell. So these two cells are known as transformants. But there is a huge difference between these two types of cells. One is that in this type of cell only the self-ligated vector is present, whereas in the second one our rDNA is present. So we can say that this cell is non-recombinant, this cell is non-recombinant, and this cell is recombinant. And जो हमारे काम की सेल है वो कौन सी है? हमारे काम की सेल है recombinant वाली. We have to select this recombinant host cell. So we cannot see visually and tell which cell is having what, or which cell is transformed, which cell is non-transformed, or which cell is recombinant. So for this selection of these recombinants, we need to have a selectable marker in the vector. So if, for example, we can say that this vector is having an ampicillin resistance gene. If this vector is having an ampicillin resistance gene, so this non-transformant will not grow in ampicillin containing media, whereas these two will grow in the ampicillin containing media. So now for the selections of this non-recombinant and recombinant is done with the help of another selectable marker. That is why many vectors have two selectable markers, and the vectors which are there in your textbook, PVR 322, it has two antibiotic selection marker. One is ampicillin resistance and the other is tetracycline resistance. The other vector which is there in your textbook is PUC19. It also has one ampicillin resistance gene and the other LAGZ gene. So these selectable markers are used to select the recombinants or the transformants. So let us see what are the examples of selectable markers. So examples of selectable marker genes. The first example is that it could be any antibiotic resistance gene. Any antibiotic resistance gene. Any antibiotic resistance gene. For example, ampicillin resistance gene or tetracycline resistance gene. And what they will do? They will help the cells to grow in the presence of these antibiotics because they will provide resistance to these antibiotics. So the cells which will contain these genes, they will be able to grow in the presence of the antibiotics. Then the second type of selectable markers are any gene coding for an enzyme. Any gene coding for an enzyme. For example, LAGZ gene. LAGZ gene which is present in the PUC19 vector. Now what does this LAGZ gene does? This LAGZ gene produces an enzyme beta-galactosidase. beta-galactosidase. This is an enzyme, and this enzyme works on X-gal, which is a colorless substrate. And when this X-gal is taken as a substrate, then this beta-galactosidase converts this into a blue colored product. So the cells which will be having this gene, they will appear blue in color, and we can visually select our cells from rest of the cells. Now third example of an antibiotic of a selectable marker is it could be any gene such as green fluorescent protein. Green fluorescent protein, which we say GFP. That is GFP. And what will happen? These cells will be visible under UV light. Means the cells which will be having the GFP gene, when we will view those cells under the fluorescent microscope, these cells will fluoresce as green color. So another example is GFP gene. One more example is that any gene which can code for an essential amino acid. Any gene coding for an essential amino acid. Example, LEU2 gene, which is found in the YEP vector. So in case of LEU2 gene, what we will do? This LEU2 gene codes for the enzyme, codes for the amino acid leucine. It codes for the amino acid leucine. So what we will do? As leucine is a essential amino acid, so we will provide the media which is deficient in leucine, and the cells which will be having the vector containing this gene will grow as it will produce its own leucine, and the other cell which will not be having this gene, they will not grow in that medium. And so we have seen that how these selectable markers are important for the selection of recombinants or transformants and how they function. Now there are many techniques for selection of recombinants such as replica plating or blue ID screening. These methods we will discuss in later videos. So for today, it's all about the selectable markers. Hope you have understood the topic. If at all you have any query, please do comment in the comment section. And if you like the video, please do like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all.